It's an honor to be recognized. Again, I think something very important, Leah says, all the accolades in the world, it's nothing like being a Mrs. and a mom, most important job in the world. So first I want to say thank you. Congratulations to the other honorees, Isaac, Lloyd, my friend Pamela as well. Again, it's great. I'm greatly humbled to be honored amongst those. So what I thought I'd do is give you a little bit about my story. And as I reflect on my personal journey, the accomplishments, the failures, the key learnings along the way, I am constantly reminded of the importance of having a meaning or a purpose that motivates and propels me forward. And I think it's important to have that even and perhaps especially during the times when I'm not necessarily certain of where forward leads. That motivation, or I refer to it as my fuel, it's different for everyone. And so I'd like to share with you a few characteristics and life experiences that have shaped who I am and empower me as I continue on my life journey. Let me first start with the characteristics of resilience and tenacity. I think these are key components of my mindset. I approach each and every day with the mindset of can, not can't. I do this knowing that obstacles will be encountered along the way, some minor and some quite large, and everything won't necessarily work out. But I think that too is part of my journey. As I reflect on my childhood, I was raised by parents who constantly reminded me that I could do anything I wanted to do if I was willing to work hard enough for it. And it seems like a very simple thing, but I can't say enough about how that mindset and their expectations shaped who I am today. It shaped not only my childhood, but my career, and again, my role as a wife and a parent. I've never felt that there wasn't anything that I couldn't do, but I knew that my priorities and my willingness to sacrifice to accomplish whatever it was, that really became my motivation and my fuel that ensured that I could meet my greatest aspirations. This mindset wasn't the only gift that my parents gave me. They were great role models, and they set examples of work ethic, sacrifice, community service, and continuous learning. And it just wasn't what they said, it was the opportunity for me to watch them do it. Most importantly, they stressed for my brother and I the importance of education. And that wasn't only in the classroom, which was very important, but it was also through life experiences and being willing to take risks. As a student, I remember being told by a high school teacher that I didn't need to worry myself with higher level math or geometry. They weren't things I was probably ever going to need because more than likely I wasn't going to go to college. And mind you, my parents sent me to a private boarding school. I was asked by a college professor during my junior year to bring proof to his class of my writing capabilities because I had performed poorly on an exam. And he wanted me to show him that I was there because I deserved to be in business school, right? That I wasn't simply there due to affirmative action, as he called it. So these experiences became catalysts for me to initially prove them wrong. But as I went through life, ultimately they became catalysts for me to prove to myself what I was capable of accomplishing, despite those who doubted me. So resiliency and tenacity and that sense of knowing that I could be successful, despite the naysayers, were the fuel that motivated me to carry on. My journey in corporate America has also not been without its challenges. Like many, I have had challenging bosses, and I've had colleagues that definitely were not concerned about my best interests or leveling the playing field, so I at least had a fighting chance. Despite those obstacles, though, I had to figure it out. I had to get on with showcasing my skills, and I had to work on figuring out how to move to the next level within my career. And fortunately, along the way, I had great mentors and sponsors. Learning to say no to opportunities also became equally an important part of my journey, keeping in mind that high integrity and the company that I kept are critical to a long, sustained career. I've also learned that resilience and tenacity are key in knowing when to stay in a role and double down on pushing through the obstacles versus running from them. Equally important has been recognizing the power of influence and realizing that I was capable of impacting the culture or the playing field in a way that I could allow others like me to be successful. Dreaming big to achieve great things is another motivator for me. I call it willing it into reality. I didn't initially envision becoming a chief financial officer. Actually, I wanted to be a lawyer. I did think maybe I could be a Supreme Court justice someday. But most importantly, I had a perspective that I could achieve great things. Dreaming big, and most importantly, having a plan to prepare myself for the opportunities was key. How do I differentiate myself? Right? How do I stand out and make a difference? Early in my career, I realized the importance of picking roles with reputable companies with strong, innovative leaders and compelling missions that I personally believed in. When I was in high tech, I made a conscious decision to move here to the Silicon Valley. I knew that was a necessary choice if I wanted to succeed in this industry. My husband and I lived abroad, which challenged us personally and professionally, and it really thrust us early on into the ability to understand multinational environments and have empathy and appreciation for diverse perspectives. When the opportunity presented itself to become the CFO of Gilead, I was very drawn to our mission of enhancing the lives of our patients and ensuring access to our medications despite economic circumstances in the developing world. This was a huge stretch for me to transition to the CFO role. To a new industry, I'm laughing at my colleagues, they all know. They experienced it with me. It was a new role and it definitely wasn't easy. But learning how to get comfortable, being uncomfortable, was a key learning for me from all of these experiences. My entree into board service came actually before my first CFO role. And it was instrumental in helping me to be a better CFO and helping me to hone my strategic business and collaboration skills. One common theme that I took from my first board role, as well as I continued to ascend to various finance roles in the Silicon Valley, it was commonly being referenced as the first, and many times the only African American women in the room. And so I have often asked myself, why is this? And candidly, I have to say that I have learned how to minimize the discomfort for me personally of being the only one long ago. But it shouldn't be misunderstood that I am keenly aware of that first and only status for myself and for the others that experience it when they walk in a meeting room. And I am keenly aware of the sponsors and the heroes of generations before me on whose shoulders that I stand. Lloyd mentioned a few of them. Change agents such as Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, John Lewis, Rosa Parks, Miriam Wright Edelman, Barbara Jordan, Maya Angelou, Colin Powell, and many others too numerous to mention who through their vision, leadership, and most importantly, their sacrifices have made it possible for me and others to stand before you with successful careers in corporate America. But still, at this juncture, what I long to see is even more progress in this regard, here in Silicon Valley and everywhere in the world, which leads me to that other fuel and that sense of purpose which motivates me every day, and that is the opportunity and the ability to serve others. I personally believe that when you carry the label of the first or the only, you have an inherent responsibility to change those dynamics for others that follow you. There's no greater pleasure than to see others benefit and thrive as a result of giving the gift of time, energy, access, or power to propel them forward. It's been personally rewarding to be a mentor, a sponsor, to provide a platform for women in my organization to garner leadership opportunities, to expand their careers, to promote inclusion and diversity in the boardroom, the C-suite, and leadership roles in corporate America and the venture capital community, to support educational initiatives to ensure our next generations of students are prepared to make a difference and to compete globally. You don't have to look incredibly far to use your platform to make a difference and to help elevate others. And I'm proud to say that as I look at my direct management team at Gilead today versus when I started 9 years ago, not only are we more diverse and reflective of our patients and the communities that we serve, but we're truly better. And we're more effective as a result of enhanced diversity of experiences and thought as we collaborate to support the company's mission. So reflecting on the theme for this weekend's conference, building bridges and not walls, the imperative for me, and what I hope is for everyone in this room, is to become more action-oriented with regards to diversity in our environments. It is a proven, measurable fact that diversity and inclusion enhance innovation and performance. I've seen it in my work environment, and I've seen it in the boards I'm privileged to serve on. As a CFO, I spent a lot of time discussing operational and financial leverage to enhance long-term shareholder value. And those same principles, I believe, can be applied to diversity of thought and inclusion. It enhances our society over the longer term, and we owe that to the generations that will follow us. I owe it to my children, and I consider it a responsibility and an important part of my life journey to be a champion for the leverage that diversity can bring. I believe the conversation should not be about the only, but the many. And I am inspired and motivated to ensure that I continue to make that journey possible and that I am a catalyst in any and every way that I can. So as I close, I am deeply grateful to Andrea and Culture Shift Labs for this honor and for the chance to share my thoughts with you here today. I can't leave without thanking my husband for his support and love, and all my family, my friends, and my colleagues who support me every day. They are also clearly part of the fuel that keeps me moving forward. Thank you.